I'm Darren.
I'm Randy.
And welcome to Startup Stories.
Because we just talking business.
We just talking business, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, every morning I wake up. Yeah.
Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Startup Stories. I am Darren and he is
Randy.
My dog said Randy.
Hey man, you gotta let him know.
Most definitely. So first off, I want to apologize about our episode with Jabari. We was trying out some new microphones that didn't work the way we wanted to, and they just kind of got a little jacked up. But
The mics weren't micing.
So we went back to what, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
So we are back to our regular paid program and our regular paid setups because there's no problem with it. And my radio voice is back in case y'all don't know. Because,
Can't get rid of the radio voice.
Cannot, because those microphones did not do my voice any justice.
Exactly.
Messed me all the way up. But today we have with us my friend Andre. His business is Nomad Suds. He is he's retired military. It's a veteran-owned company. Would you please let us know what is Nomad Suds?
Nomad Suds is a company I started that it's mainly about family and things like that. It was started for my boys and myself mainly, so it's kind of the idea I got from it was me and my wife were traveling. My wife is a travel nurse, so that's where the Nomad came from, because we were in a Class A RV, so that's where Nomad Suds came from.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so.
Wow, that's interesting, man. That's interesting.
It is trying to make, so at first, when I first started the company, I was at home, and then my wife started travel nursing, and she's like, well, we can do this at home still, or you can stay here, or you can go with me or whatever. So I decided to go with her, and we make everything, we used to make everything out of the RV, and it's like 20 by 40 square feet in that RV.
Oh my goodness.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's a lot of getting rid of things that you don't need,
Yes.
and making it work, and we did
for
years.
And so y'all do like soaps, body butters. I know you do
Bath bombs. I do bath bombs.
Bath salts too, or
no bath salts.
And then you're working on I don't know if we want to talk about that.
I have some lotions now, lotions, and I have loofah soaps. I got some new products, but they're not out yet. But I have dishwasher tabs and laundry soap.
What? Yes. I didn't want to be the one to say it because I didn't know if he wanted to put that out there yet. So I wanted to let him drop that one.
Darren.
Yes.
You did not warn me.
I tried. Listen. That's why I've been telling you that I wanted to get him on the podcast, bro.
You make dishwashing detergent?
Yes.
Okay, look, man. I'm gonna be real. I feel like in a lot of homes, certain homes, you can sometimes run out of dishwasher detergent.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Easily.
Yes.
Okay, I have been there. I've run out of dishwasher detergent.
So you try to use some Dawn dish soap?
Of course. Listen. I found the perfect ratio of Dawn dish soap and baking soda.
Yeah.
To be able to use inside of the dishwasher. I'm a little proud of myself, okay?
Yeah.
Don't take that away from me, man. Don't take that away from me, all right?
After we get done, I'll share some secrets with you on how you can do that, and that is, you're on the right path.
Also, I saw that you had some supplies as well. We'll take a look at those as well, okay?
Yep.
Yes.
So I know we normally open up with like an icebreaker, or we give somebody their props. I don't have an icebreaker for this one, but I'm going to talk about how me and Andre met. I was at a craft market, doing my thing. Andre comes through, and we just had a quick conversation about business. And he was asking me about my products. But then eventually he told me that he's like, yeah, I make body butters too. And we end up having, I don't know, like a 15, 20-minute conversation at the craft market about, our processes of how we make things. And I think maybe like a couple weeks later, I ordered some soaps from him. Shoot, he came through, dropped him off, and we ended up sitting in my living room for like 2 hours.
Wow.
Just talking business, talking products, talking about things we've been through. And one of the coolest things that I learned from Andre, or my biggest takeaway, is the fact that he didn't, or he doesn't gatekeep information. And we've talked about this before on another. I'm not snapping my fingers.
You will.
We talked about this on a different episode about gatekeeping, but he didn't gatekeep any information. And there's been times even where I just texted him and was like, "Hey, this is a question I have. How do I do this?" And he was boom wide open, like, "Hey, you do boom, 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 boom." So that's me giving you props, because I feel like that's something that not a lot of people do.
No.
And
No, it's not.
have you always been that person that doesn't gatekeep, and or you always give information? You always try and help people out. Have you always been that way?
I have been that way, because if someone wouldn't have done that for me, I wouldn't have had the information as well. So I see plenty of people like on YouTube and stuff, and they keep things private. Why keep it private when we're trying to build a relationship here, as far as working relationship and stuff? And if I don't tell you something, you can easily go out there and find that information, and then you become like, well, why did he not tell me that? When I can find it right here. If you know where to look, there's no reason for me. We can all eat out here, and
Exactly.
and there's plenty of people to sell our products to. So
Yes.
there's no reason to keep anything behind any paywall or anything like that, because it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Let me fix this man a plate real quick. Hold on. Darren, you know how I feel about people that don't gatekeep.
Yes.
I need to give this dude his flowers, bro.
Go ahead. What kind?
Listen, that's what's up. I also saw. Okay, I was creeping on your page a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
I saw that you do classes as well.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I would like people to buy my products, but not everybody can afford my products all the time. Sometimes if they got a family of 10 or 6, whatever, and they want good, healthy products for themselves, who am I to not let them make that stuff at home if they want to make it? Now, I'm a full believer in is if I treat people right, they'll treat me right. So when my classes, people come by and they buy stuff from me all the time, even though they can make it on their own. So there's no reason to not, you know what I'm saying? So my only thing is, when I'm teaching a class, is I have a beginner's class, and then I have a advanced class. When you do the beginner's class, you're not going to get any advanced information from me. And it's not because I'm trying to hold it from you. It's because I'm trying to not overload you with stuff that
Yes.
So
Yes. I thought we were doing the business, not dope people.
You know what? This is startup stories, but this is a mix of startup stories and dope people, because he's doing it all for people. Like,
yes,
that's great. And
yes,
like,
bro,
I tried to tell you ahead of time, man.
Oh my,
you
didn't. I feel like you didn't warn me enough.
I told you ahead of time.
No, I blame you.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
So how did you get into making, like, what was that thing that made you say, okay, I want to start making soaps and just to keep going?
So the funny thing is, it wasn't the amount of products in the amount of chemicals and ingredients and stuff in the soap. What it was at first initially was that years ago you can go in the store right now and buy 50 products that are for women, or babies, but you can find 5 for men.
Yeah.
Our section is 1 foot by 2 foot.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, it was because there were not a lot of products for men out there. So when my product first started, it was for men. I did, my catchphrase was get you someone like a man again. It has changed since then, because I'm making products for women, kids, or whatever. But that's where it started. I don't. Men like to smell good and look good and feel good about themselves just as much as women. It's a common misconception that men don't like to take care of themselves. But some of us do.
Yes.
So
yes. Yes, we do.
Yes, most definitely.
I kind of stopped using like major soap brands as well, and I kind of switched off to the whole natural soap. It is a very expensive. It can be a very expensive lifestyle to lead, but that feeling that you have after you take a shower, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That right there, and then the combination of that and Darren's lotion, it's like it's a perfect harmony.
Yeah.
I if you don't, I'll put it like this: if you don't already use natural soap, I suggest that you try Nomads out. Try it out. Wash yourself, and then just notice how you feel and the difference between how you normally feel after you take a shower and then after you take a shower with Nomads to that natural soap. How you feel?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we're in the same field.
Mm-hmm.
How many times did you mess up in the very beginning? Like how many batches did you just bomb into the toilet in the beginning when you were making your stuff?
So there's key things I do here when I'm looking into a product or making something. I do hours, weeks, months of research before I start. Okay, so I always dig into it myself and make sure that it's something I can handle or I'm prepared to handle. But when I first started, I made probably 5 or 6 loaves that were not I could use, but they just didn't have the feel or the results that I wanted. So now I didn't throw them away, but I would never give them to somebody because they're not what I would like to put out there.
Exactly.
All soap, once it turns into soap, you can pretty much use it. There's only a couple of scenarios where you cannot use soap after it's made. So if it strips your skin or whatever and you don't like that, you can always use it still. So I threw away about 5 loaves that I didn't feel like I could give to anybody.
Okay.
On my other products, by that time, since I started doing this stuff, I really didn't have any mess ups like that because I was already kind of in the zone and stuff and knew how I was going to do things. So I mess up a soap here and there because of something here I've added or whatever I'm trying, but it's nothing like, well, man, I can't. That's got to go in the garbage.
Yes. I asked that because I know in the beginning for me, I just went at it. I was like, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to learn. I don't need to do any research. I'm fine. And I think I threw away probably like my first $200 worth of products.
Yeah.
Just like right into the trash can because I had messed up. And after I did that, I was like, okay, you need to sit down and do more research and figure this out.
Darren said, I'm winging it.
I did.
Winging that money right out the door.
I 100% did. It was bad. Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm really excited for this episode because I get to see like the other dynamic that we have, like when I have a photographer on.
Yes.
And how we kind of just like go back and forth.
Yes.
I'm excited to see this right here. I really am. I'm really excited to see that.
It's gonna be. It's already starting off dope.
Yeah.
I'm digging. It's already starting off dope.
Exactly.
So, growing up, did you have like anybody that you in your family or friends or anybody that you saw that owned a business that inspired you to want to own a business?
Funny enough, I didn't really. So I'm from the country. So, and if you know the country, I'm from North Carolina. So if you know the country, a lot of people, unfortunately, in my area, they just stay in the country. They don't dream to be anything more than what they are. So when I left and joined the military and stuff, and I started traveling the world, my eyes opened up to things. So if there's anybody that really inspired me to do something extra to be where I'm at right now, it's my friend Jeremiah. That's a shout out in case you he's always got my corner and stuff. So he's the guy that I'm like, if he believes I can do it, we're all in.
There we go.
I
That's
like
cool.
that. I like that.
Man, he said North Carolina, so that's like home of like Hoppin' John and
Yes.
Gullah Red Rice and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Catfish.
Bro,
Let's not.
catfish
Let's
is just across the South, bro.
It
We
really
talking
is.
about some particular things.
I'm
here.
sorry.
These are particulars.
Okay, so the reason why I said that, last time I went to South Carolina.
Dang, they two different places.
You're good.
I'm sorry.
Two different places.
You're right. It is completely different.
But I guarantee Gullah Red Rice flow down to go to South Carolina too, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just
and
saying.
Hoppin' John.
I've heard that name, but I've never been there.
Been there? Yeah. It's pretty good.
It is?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I gotta check it out.
I mean, like Gullah Red Rice is like a play off of Jollof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The African roots.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yes.
I like it. Wow. I got.
The more you know.
I know. I don't know, bro. Gotta let them know.
What has the support been like? I mean, I know you just talked about your friend, but what's the support been like from like the rest of your family and everyone when you first started your business?
So, my sister has always been in my corner.
Mhm.
She's had her own small business as well, you know. So she's always been in my corner. My family's been in my corner. The person that's backed me up the most is obviously my wife. She keeps me straight, you know, and things like that. So my biggest cheerleader is her. And there are days where I get up and I'm like, man, I just don't want to do that. And she comes along behind me, gives me a little kick,
Yeah.
and here we go, you
Yep.
know. So I've had plenty of support as far as friends and stuff too, because that's how I got started. You know, I was making the product for my boys, and then I just had so much that I was sitting on stuff, and I'm like, let me just take this to work. You know, I'm just gonna give this to people, and you know, just get rid of some of it. And eventually, they're like, why are you giving this to us? You should be selling this to us. I'm like, I didn't see myself like that. You know, I'm just like, hey, I'm making soap, having fun, and they're like, no, we're gonna buy it. So that's where it started.
Okay.
How long have you been making soap?
I've been making soap probably close to 7 years now.
7 years?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
good.
I started with just basic bars of soap, you know, just to do what I wanted them to do. But now I do all kinds of things that are different than what I wouldn't use, you know, and I love it.
Can you see that growth from when you first started to where you are now? Like, do you wear this? I can see you wear this as a badge. Like, this is your thing, man. You're Nomads, you know?
Thank you.
Like, can you see that growth from when you first started to where you are now?
I can. You can see it from in my personality and from my products, but you can see it as in the way I carry myself around my business and stuff like that. You know, I used to just where I'm like, here's you want to try my stuff out. You want to you want to buy it. Now I'm like, hey, here, try this.
Yes.
And then they'll always come back.
Yeah.
So that's where it started like that.
I'm like, listen, man, I understand. Like, you used to other stuff, but if I give you this, you're gonna want to come back. So I'm gonna give you my card as well. Here you go. Boom.
Very much.
I'm about to ask a question that's going to make you get moving. Here we go. See, melt and pour. Melt and pour.
Okay.
Versus.
Okay.
Let
So
him break it down. He about to break this down.
there are so when if you have melt and pour and you have my type of soap, melt and pour is fine if you are just you want to take some stuff to the baby shower, you know, for your friends or whatever, you know, and you want to or give for gifts and stuff like that. But to really get into the product and make it the way that you want or the way that somebody's ordering they want, you cannot use melt and pour because melt and pour has a certain look to it. You can always, if you go to someone's store or whatever, and you're like, you see the soap and you see my soap, you can tell without even a doubt that that's melt and pour. So there are a few cases where you use melt and pour. So I use melt and pour for my loofah soaps, And the only reason I use melting pour is because I want you to see the loofah inside. If you make my soap and use it, you cannot see the loofah inside because any handmade soap doesn't come out clear because the oil's dry pretty much brown. So I will use melting pour in my loofah soaps because I want you to see that there's loofah in there and the aesthetics of it. But I don't use melting pour like that because it's hard. It's I'm not throwing shade on anybody that uses melting pour, but you don't get the me inside melting pour. So
I understand that because with me making my body butters, they have places where you can go and buy a base, and you can buy just the base of the butter, like you just have it, and all you do is add your fragrance to it, and then you jar it up and you slap your name, your label on it, and then you sell it. And to me, there's something different in going through that process of that trial and error, that learning, that failing, and then you getting it right and feeling good that you got it right and knowing that you've made a product and now you're putting this out there to people. So I don't know if that's similar, kind of like how you feel with, because is yours considered cold pressed or?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine is cold pressed.
Yes.
So hot press is where you have a soap that's already pretty much, you put it in the slow cooker or something like that, and you heat it up and stuff. I don't like the way it looks when it comes out because you can't, like, when you use cold processed soap, you can pour it in there and it's flat. Hot process, you might have clumps and stuff, and I don't like that kind of stuff. And I have done hot process just to try it out for myself, to see how it works, but I don't like it doesn't appeal to me. Nothing wrong with it, I just don't like it. It's too much. I can't do my thing to hot process soap and make it smooth and finesse like I like it.
Something I've been trying to learn too, or figure out, just because like we buy fragrances to fragrance our products. And actually, I'm gonna sidestep real quick before I get to that one. One of the good things that I notice about my products and his, even though we do two different things and some things similar, is that neither one of our products are heavily scented. They're lightly scented. They're never overpowering. It's just enough to where you smell it and you allows it, like, it feels good, but then once you smell it and you're done, your skin still feels good. And that scent isn't just hanging on. Like if you to wear like Irish Spring or something crazy like that. Irish Spring gonna last for like 6 hours.
They tell you to grind it up and put it around your house to keep the spiders away.
And mice.
Don't it like kill roaches too or something like that?
No shade to Irish.
No, all the shade to Irish Spring.
I'm just.
But
St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow.
I don't care. Do you think that? See, like, I wonder if they use Irish Spring in Ireland. I bet you is Irish Spring an American thing or is it an Irish thing?
I'll tell you. Okay, so there are products that we have here in America that cannot be sold over there because of the chemicals and stuff in it. So, funny enough, that our version of Irish Spring is not sold overseas like that.
Really?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
We not to get off on a tangent here, but our products in America have the most chemicals in them, as opposed to another country. Like you go across the north border or the south border, them people are living the way they're living, but their products their products are 50 times healthier than our products.
You ever wonder why, like we have a swap meet up here, and they bring up watermelons from like Guatemala and everything, and it just tastes so much better. The oranges come up, everything. They taste better. Like I think it's Ritz crackers American Ritz crackers are banned in Europe. Because of whatever the stuff is inside of them. And like graham crackers, a bunch of stuff.
What was those one Dunkaroos? Dunkaroos. They're banned. I mean,
don't even make Dunkaroos anymore, do they?
No.
In Canada, you can get them in Canada, but they close that down.
We can't get nothing in Canada. we ain't gonna go there.
I know, right? That's a different episode. Completely different episode. All right, man. So I have a quick question. All right. So regarding, you said cold press, hot press, and melt and pour.
Mhm.
Are those three different types of ways to make soap?
So with the melt and pour, it's already made. It comes in a block, and you have to melt it down in the microwave or in your slow cooker or whatever. And then, so it's like he was talking about the base. It's already made.
Okay.
You add your fragrance, your colors, and stuff like that, or whatever. With hot process and cold process, they're pretty much the same. Just how you get to that end result is different. So with hot process, you heat up the oils and stuff, and you get it all in the slow cooker and stuff like that. But with cold process, you don't have to heat it up. I mean, obviously you heat your oils up or whatever if you're trying to melt them, whatever. But it's so much faster to do cold process because there's no waiting around for it to get heated up or melted or whatever like that. So that's why I like cold process.
So I feel like in the photography world, it's like a JPEG versus a RAW file.
Yes, very much so, very much so. The amount of information you can put into a cold process or even a hot process is infinitely more than you can do with a melt and pour. A melt and pour is like the 3K JPEG, and then the raw file is like the hot process or the core process, which is 25 to 50 megs, or gigs in some cases.
Did you? You're a good teacher. Listen, man. What? Did you literally just, okay, man. Have you ever been like, like Spanish? Okay. You have somebody speaking Spanish, right? You really don't understand what Chinese. You really can't understand what they're saying unless you speak Chinese. You really can't understand what they're saying.
Okay.
He just translated this whole thing. Listen, he said, there's a lot. When he said the information, because I understood it. I understood exactly what he was saying. There's not much you can do with the JPEG because it's like what you see is what you get. Mm-hmm. There's no information to it. It's just like the picture, versus a RAW file. You have all the data inside of the RAW file. You can manipulate the data inside of a RAW file to make it look how you want it to look. He just said that. But about soap, and I understood it. That is, okay. All right. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I understand everything now. I get it.
Oh my goodness. I had a question about fragrances, and so when I buy my fragrances, I look at the whole information list, and the one thing I've always noticed is they talk about it's like cold process safe or cold process, like it works. What happens if a fragrance isn't or doesn't work for a cold process? Like, does it distort color? Does it distort the way your product comes out? Or
so when you're making cold process soap, you're emulsifying it or whatever, and then you get it to what's called a light trace. That's where you pull your stick blender out or whatever using to mix it, and there's a light film on top of the oils. So what happens when you use certain, like I have a product here, Nurture soap. That's good. That's not a plug. See me if you want, what. It tells you on here what it can be used for if it's gonna discolor it. So like if you're planning on making a white soap, all right, and you use this, and it says it's gonna turn it brown as it, goes through the chemical process, that you might not be expecting that. So when you look at that, you always make sure it says cold process, safe, or if it's going to discolor it, or if it's going to make it, because when you are mixing your soap, your oils and stuff, and then say like you add your oil in, and then you normally don't have this type of oil, and it's a new oil you're using. I mean, new scent you're using. It will all of a sudden you turn around and your soap is clumpy, and you need to pour it in the mold now because this is what happened.
Okay.
You know, also if you can add infinite amount of things like honey, goat's milk, whatever. If you add honey, anything sweet, some of these scents are sweet. You know, as far as like they're how they're made and stuff, it will make your soap harder, faster. So you need to be quicker with it when you're making it.
I've noticed a lot like vanilla.
Yes.
Like I noticed I see a lot where it says like vanilla's can discolor
Accelerates
your...
in
Yes.
colors. Yes.
It said accelerates.
Yes.
Yes. How
That's
fast
the solidifying process.
Yeah. So there's two different things. So when you have when it accelerates, like let's say you're making gravy. All right.
Yes.
Let's say you're making gravy. All right, and
Love gravy.
you're adding a little flour and stuff. You know, you're adding the flour,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden, bam! It's like, you know, you
Yes.
gotta so you gotta add water to it. In the case of soap, you cannot add water to it. So when you get to that process in the soap making, and you're like, man, this is gonna turn into batter right now. That's what you want to avoid. It's still soap. It will still work. You can leave it in the bowl and then scoop it out later on, and it'll be chunks, and wash yourself with it because it still does the process. But yes, accelerates fast with sweet. Certain scents will make it do that, so you got to be careful and make sure you check that.
How okay. I was wondering how quick do you have to like get? Is it like you're making it like oh boom, and then you have to like dump it into like a mold to set it up? Like it's like that quick?
No, so it depends. So like when we make our laundry soap, all right, it's still pretty much liquid when we pour it into the mold because it's all natural. There's barely any scent, and if there's scent in it, it's essential oil only. It makes it so it doesn't harden up fast. Doesn't go through what's called the saponification process that fast. So when you don't have any scent in it, you have pretty much all day to mess around with it.
Yeah.
I mean, not all day, but I mean you have
Yeah.
time to mess around with it and do what you want. But when you start adding scents, you know, not mica's color and stuff like that, that doesn't really have much to do with it, how fast it goes. But yeah, you definitely want to watch that stuff. You know, it's a learning process.
You said
Saponification.
saponification.
Yes, that's the chemical process where it goes through from oils and it heats up in the wherever you're storing it, and it turns into usable soap.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I had a question when you said when you're talking about goat's milk. How do you? I mean, is it like goat's milk that has been through like some kind of like filtration process, and then also like how do you use I guess you would have to use some kind of like preservative to stop the goat's milk from like having a reaction within everything, right?
Okay, so there are a couple different ways you can do that. You can you can absolutely go to the store and buy goat's milk if you want, but you can also use goat's milk from your backyard.
Okay.
You have to be mindful of maybe
But
how.
No,
Food,
seriously. He looked outside like he had a freaking goat.
Sorry, no. Randy has no goats here. No, but like you can do that. You can essentially go out, milk the goat, and bring it in there. But you have to be mindful of the process of that. When you have that raw goat's milk, it may have unexpected results in your product.
Okay.
So I find the best way to use goat's milk is if you dry it and turn it into a powder.
Okay.
That keeps, because your oils, the lye water, and not to get too heavy into the lye water, but the lye water can get up to 240 degrees. You know, that's the most dangerous part of making soap. So, you know, if you put milk on the stove and you heat it up, sooner or later it's going to start scorching and turning brown. That will happen with your lye and your milk if you put just regular milk in it. So you can either freeze it into ice cubes, which helps with that, or you can use powdered goat's milk, and it definitely helps. You don't have to scorch it, and don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Don't even.
Is there a shelf? So if you do use goat's milk, is there like a shelf life? Do you have to like store it inside the refrigerator?
No. The the soap doesn't have to. Once it goes through saponification, it will last a long time. There are things that you don't want to add to your soap, like let's say you're adding berries and stuff to your soap. People do that, whatever reason. But those type of things, if they're not preserved or whatever, they will start to go bad and to mold. Soap can mold if you don't have the right stuff in it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Important to do your research about what can go into soap.
Yes.
So it doesn't mold.
Yes.
Yeah.
So don't use the fresh berries out of your backyard.
Yes.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
But you can use that goat milk though.
Yeah.
Because once it goes through personification.
Saponification.
Yes.
Almost said personification.
I play that
You need to
sometimes.
personify. You need to personify the saponification process.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, man. So when you were first learning how to make soap, was there someone you were able to go to, or a place you were able to go to and learn, or was this a lot of like YouTube University and things like that?
Surprisingly enough, no one I had known had made handmade soap before. I mean,
Okay.
in my circle and stuff like that, and I didn't know anybody that was making soap. So I didn't. It's not that I didn't think that people didn't make handmade soap. It's just I didn't imagine it because I had never seen it before. In my day-to-day life. So when I first started doing research, it was mainly YouTube, and there's an infinite amount of information on YouTube and soap makers that will tell you how to do things, and you can watch the videos, and then you can gain that knowledge and use that.
That's great. And so, and also, I guess that goes off into the next question about business. Was that a full learning curve on your own, or did you have someone else that you may have known in business also?
With that, so I had always envisioned myself as being an entrepreneur. Even when I was early 20s and stuff, I was writing my own like business plan and stuff like that. So I always had that in me to do that stuff. I didn't have that kick, so to speak. My wife was always speaking that into me, you trying to breathe that into me. I didn't see it that way, I'm like, I don't, I'm happy working for somebody else at the time, I was making good money at the jobs I've had. It took, like, she has been why are you not doing it? You talk about it all the time. You've been talking about it for years. Why are you not doing it? So that's where it clicked, and I was like, if my main support is right here,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
yeah.
Darren says this every single time, man. Every single time. Our wives are rocks, man.
I promise you, because I mean, I would do the same thing. I'd come up with all these ideas, and I'd run them past my wife, and she'd be like, "Yeah, do that."
Yeah.
And then I would go, and I'd be like, "Yeah, but I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "Well, then why are you okay? Fine, great." And then I come up with another idea, and I'd be talking to her about it, and she's like, "Yeah. So go ahead and do that." And I'd be like, "Man, I don't like working with people." Like, why don't you want to? See, I really don't want to own my own business. And then just this last push, she was like, "Dude, what are you gonna do?"
Do it.
I'm like, "Oh, well, okay. Yes, let's go."
I'm saying, man, you said it. Every single person. It's always our wives, our husbands, our significant others that are pushing us to, you know what I'm saying, to take that jump, take that leap, man. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
It just lets us know how much our support system matters.
Yes, 100%.
And like when I I have cousins and stuff that they're like, when I go back home and they see me and I'm driving the Tesla or the Caddy or something like that, like, man, you're really doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you could be doing it too if you would get out of what you're doing and let me talk to you a little bit. You know, I have a cousin now that I just discovered through some genealogy stuff, and he calls me all the time, and I'm passing knowledge on to him about, hey, why are you sitting on these ideas? Just take it. I will help you get there. I will help you get there. You just need to take the first step because I can't make that step for you.
Yes. Yes,
That's what's up.
I feel like a lot of people, and you know what it is. It's, and I think we've talked about this before, but I think it's fear. I think it's the fear of failure, and any way you can talk yourself out of doing it, you will do it just to say, oh yeah, I couldn't do it because of this, I couldn't do it because of that. But like recently, I just had some wins recently, you know, with where I'm at, and I was thinking to myself, like, this time last year, I was just learning how to make, you know, body butters and stuff, and now I've expanded, and now I'm in these different places. I didn't know this is where I would be.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that, I also have to say, when we were talking about like gatekeeping, the store that I was in a specific store. I told Andre about it. Andre is now in that store. Andre gets into a bakery. He's like, hey, Darren, have you heard about this bakery? Go get in over there. Boom. Yeah. So now we both are in two of the, you know, exact same places selling our products, and I make a body butter and he makes a body butter. I could care less that we are in the same space making a similar product when there's space out here for all of us to eat.
Yes.
Like, I would never ever I would never be in a space and be like, nah, bro, I don't want nobody else to be over here that makes this just like me. Nah. If theirs is better, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Theirs happens to be better.
You just have
Like,
to kick your game up and stuff.
Exactly. And there's so many different skin types out there. What may work for one person may not work for the next.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, God, that's what's up, man. I love that. I love that.
Like, I know the difference between like mine and his. Like, his body butter, his stuff is like really, it's light and it's like creamy. Feel boom. My stuff is a little more like thick and a little more heavy.
Yeah.
And both of those, I liked them both because I remember I put his on at home. I was like, ooh. It's like, God, dog, that mess feel good. Hey, my wife, hey, smell it. This came from Andre.
Like Randy said, though, there are different skin types for both of our soaps.
Yes.
You know, and outside of that, we're gonna collab together sometime.
This is
true.
true.
You know, so that's an insider knowledge right there.
That's coming. It's coming.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'll take pictures.
Yes, he's so my good photos on my site are done by him.
I need to hire you too because I've been struggling.
The ones that look a little blurry and funny, that is by me using my cell phone and a light box, okay? And then me going to my phone and changing the filter to like a brighter filter.
Oh my gosh. I got you, bro. For real, I got you. Don't even say like.
Oh my goodness.
So I have a question for you, man. Mm-hmm. All right, you go home, go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, you go inside your bathroom, grab your bar of soap, you know, wash your face with it. How does it feel knowing that, like, you created that? You're a business owner. You know what I'm saying? It feels
awesome because, you know, I get to enjoy my products, and I know other people are enjoying them. It makes me smile all the time, especially with my friends or whatever, or people come in and they're like, you know, I use that soap, I use that dishwasher tab or whatever, and I love it.
Yes.
I'm like, man, that fills me up. That's one of the ways my wife does 70% of my filling up, but then the rest of it is from people telling me, you know, hey, this is good stuff.
Like, this is the one. This is the one right here.
Yes.
So, have you ever, like, I know Darren and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. Have you ever, like, gone somewhere and noticed somebody smells like your fragrance?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Surprisingly enough, yeah.
Did it stop you in your tracks?
I asked them, I said, where did you get that? You know, like, where'd you find that at? And they're like, oh, I bought it here or at this store I used to be at in Iowa. And I'm like, and I don't initially toot my own horn.
What did you just say? Say that one more time.
Where they smell like, like, so when I go somewhere and they smell like my product, I don't approach them really and tell them in like, hey, that's mine.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. I'm full of myself as it is. I don't want to.
I got you, bro. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, there's no reason to. There's no reason to. There's a time I might get in my car and I'm like, but right in their face,
I love that.
that's not. Some people were like, when you do that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to bring that kind of energy to them unless they're my friend, and then we're dapping it up and stuff,
Yeah.
like they're like,
Yes.
I like that, and fist bumping and all. But if it's just a normal person, I might say, oh, that's pretty good. How'd you
Yeah.
like it? I get that information because if I tell them that it's mine, they may not be as truthful with me because
Mhm.
it's my product.
Mhm.
I want them to tell me if they didn't like it. I want to know why you didn't like it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask one that's a little tough. Have you ever had someone tell you that they didn't like your product?
Yes. Yes.
That is a tough thing to deal with. How did you feel when that happened?
So what I normally do, because I've had that happen multiple times, they're like, I like that, but I didn't like this. There are a few routes I take after that. All right. So when I make a soap for the masses, like everybody, and it's going to my stores or whatever, I might tighten it up a little bit.
Mhm.
But if it's something that, like my friend Jeremiah, he will tell me dead on, like, I didn't like that, and this is why I didn't like it.
Mhm.
And then I will go back and reformulate that to something that he would like, because like he has a certain thing with certain soaps that I make, and if I make a soap loaf, he's buying half of it already.
Okay.
Because he likes what he likes. So if he tells me that this didn't work out, I value that because he's not coming from a place like, I'm like, I don't like this guy. He's telling me because he wants me to be better.
Mhm.
So I take that to heart, and I don't really take anything negatively if you are coming at me like I'm trying to make you better.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I remember the first time I had that happen to me. I was at a craft market, which probably was when we met at, and I remember telling this lady, I was like, "Hey, just take a little bit because a little goes a long way." Well, she took a big, just mass, put it on her hands, and she starts rubbing it in, and then her and her friend like they walk off, and I just happen to be like glancing to my left just to look around the room, and I hear the friend go, "How'd you like it?" And she goes, "No." And I was staring right at her, and she looks up and she looks at me, and she was like, but it wasn't like I wasn't watching her. I just happened to be like scanning the room, and I heard it, and then I just turned and I saw her, and she's staring at me, and I was like, I remember going, man, what is wrong with her? How couldn't you like myself? And I was like, well, bruh, not everybody's gonna like what you make.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be for everyone, and so that's why I say like, shoot, it ain't for everyone.
Yeah.
right.
Like,
Well, I mean, she took a whole.
she
She's gonna be rubbing that in for a minute.
She took a lot.
She's gonna be busy. Her hands are gonna be occupied. Yes, her hands are gonna be occupied. You know, you put on too much lotion, and you gotta ask the person next to you, hey,
Take
can
some
you
of
take
this?
some of this? That's what she's gonna be like to like 3 other people. That's so awkward.
That's a black people problem.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You know what? I don't think I've ever seen anybody non-black be like, hey, take some of this.
You know, never. No, it's only black people, and you take some of this real quick.
I put too
You
much
just dap
on.
it up. You just dap it up.
I didn't really need lotion right now.
You know what? I was gonna have you use it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I know that with my business, we can do anhydrous butters, which are they're made without any water, and then there's emulsified that are made with water and things like that. I noticed that some people or just people with certain skin types had no problem with the anhydrous because it's that's just butters and oils, and then some other folks they're like, hey, that's too greasy. Um, so did you ever run into any issues like that trying to make things work for skin types?
Yeah, so I have. For the audience out there, my wife is white, so
Mine too.
so you might not think there are different challenges for our skin types, but there are. So I make my soaps for different skin types, acne, scarring, clearing up scars and stuff like that. Fair skin, white, black. So there are a couple different ways you can do these things, but it's getting the feedback from people, that they give you, because that's crucial. Don't take it to heart if somebody tells you that your product's not what they like, but you cannot. I don't think you can go into business in today's climate and not serve the masses and expect to stay in business, because that's just not how it works, really.
Yeah.
So
I feel like this is one of those situations where you have I feel I don't know if I should say okay, you have, like, before it was like, people didn't see differences. People didn't see differences, but now it's transformed to, yes, I definitely see differences, and we're going to celebrate these differences.
Yes.
And this is where we transform that one product doesn't fit all,
Yes.
And so we have different products for different people because not everybody's the same person. You know what I'm saying? My blueprint doesn't match your blueprint. Your blueprint doesn't match my blueprint. And so because of that, we have different types of products for different types of people, and that is important that people understand and know that. So when that lady grabbed the huge glob of lotion when you warned her,
yes,
I think that it would be important that she understood the difference between the two products that she could potentially be grabbing, because I use your products and I think they are outstanding.
So basically we were talking about how damn, did I just mess that up, or did we already pan? We already talked about that during the podcast. Was that off camera that we talked about that?
Which one? The lady?
Yeah.
No, that was during.
You do my brain. Listen, I told you I got so off just now. I was like, did we talk about that?
Right? No,
Was that on camera? Because we've had conversations off camera.
Yeah.
It's a good thing he's going to edit this whole piece out.
Oh, yeah. We're good. We're good. But, like, the way, when you asked that question, it literally flowed perfectly, because it was right after that conversation about the lady that grabbed too much lotion. The too much lotion lady.
Yes.
The lotion lady.
Yeah, definitely. Lotion. It's and so, I mean, the thing that happens sometimes is, I guess we're talking about skin. I remember it's like one of my first ones, somebody told me, she's like, hey, some of us are fine with it being a little greasy. She's like, but some folks aren't going to be fine with their product being greasy like that. And so she's like, you might want to make an adjustment. And I'm like, I don't want to make an adjustment, but let me go in and see what I can do. So I made that adjustment so that I can make my product be I want it to be for everyone. I understand everyone's not going to like it, but so that more people can enjoy the product that I make.
Yes. That's interesting.
So a thing that I do, and I don't know if you want to do this, implement it or whatever, but so it's easier for me to do it. So a person will come to me and they tell me their skin type, okay? And I will tailor the soap to them as long as they will buy half of the product right off the bat. Because I can't make a soap for a person with red hair and then no one else has red hair comes to my store. So I will tailor a product to you, but you have to buy half of the loaf of soap from me. So that way I can get something back from it, because not everybody will buy that soap at the end of the day. So if I can make it for everybody, I will, But if you want something that's just specifically for you, I will do that. You just need to buy half the bar that I make.
I actually just had a lady reach out to me. She was in the store. She checked out my body creams, and then she messaged me on my Etsy page asking me if I made a body cream with like a clove scent, and I was like, nah, I don't make a body cream with a clove scent. And so eventually, naturally, like the pleasing side of me was like, maybe I can order like some clove fragrance oil, fragrance oil. I can make it and then be like, hey, yeah, I have this specifically for you. But then I went to like, well, I can, the price of it, the time that it takes me to make it, then for me to order this scent, then for me to pay for shipping, I don't make anything off of this. Trying to make just this one jar for this one person. Like, will they be happy that I went out of my way to do it and I did this for them? 100%. But I'm losing in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't make a scent with clove.
Yeah.
Can you, so in creating like that, can you just like take some cloves and like put it in there or no? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
You'd have to go through a whole breakdown process of probably like grinding it down into a powder, then filtering like water through it to get it into to have that water consistency. And also, I've never made a fragrance oil, so I don't know what goes into that. I also don't know, what would happen with the reaction from me using actual real clove and putting that into there. Will it break down my product? Could there be something that is in it that could cause an issue where maybe someone's skin doesn't react properly to that whole process? So I wouldn't.
Got it. There's it casts a big variable.
Yes.
that you're. I get that.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I have a quick question, man. What has been your biggest victory in the soap game?
I used to say that it was getting my website started and stuff like that and getting that going, but now it's getting into stores that I never thought I would get into. My next goal would be to get into a chain store, and maybe not filling up the aisles or whatever, but where I can say, hey, here's 500 bars. You distribute them to where you want them to go to. I have my little own corner in a store, or whatever. That's my goal. Is where I'm shipping cross country to retailers and stuff like that.
Wow. Yes. It's important that as entrepreneurs that we are our own marketing professionals. How has that played into your?
So with myself, I like to do my own marketing, just because, like, I can do it if I find it funny, and chances are it's funny to somebody else. I like to put my own foot in it.
Yes. Yes.
So when I make a video or a commercial or whatever, I know what I like.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about hiring people before, and I don't see a need to pay somebody to create something that I'm not going to like. Mm-hmm. If I'm not going to like it, I know my friends aren't going to like it. So I try and do my own marketing. Now, at some point, maybe in the future, I might hire somebody because it becomes too much. But right now, I do my own stuff.
I hear it.
I'm funny.
I hear it.
So
yes, yeah. And again, there was, I want to say about 10 years ago, about roughly 10 years ago, I was scrolling through YouTube and I seen this video, and it was about soap. I'm not going to name any names, but it was about soap, and the video was for me, it was hilarious. Not only was it hilarious, but I think it was informative as well. I think you have to put out just enough information inside of your inside of your advertisement, so people can kind of pick up and grasp what you're trying to say. But it was very informative, and so that made me immediately want to buy it. I literally was like, boom, I bought 3 bars, and I think like that right there is like it's so important, Very
much important. Marketing is can be the biggest factor to you taking that next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%. 100%.
Definitely. So, man, we sliding up to the end. There's only one question that can be asked. I can't ask it. Y'all know this already. Randy, do your thing, bro.
So, man, we always like to end out with that question that resonates with people. You know, leave that lasting, influence, on them. So, what's that one thing that you want to leave behind to that entrepreneur, that person that's making soap, even if they're not making soap, but they want to do their own startup? What's that one thing that you want to say to them?
the one thing I would say to somebody that's thinking about doing what I do or what Darren does or what you do, if you can think it, you can do it. I mean, it's like you sit on this information, you've been thinking of ideas for years, and then years later, the same idea you had, somebody else comes up with, and now they're millionaires.
Yes.
You could have been that millionaire.
Yes.
You just need to take that leap and take it from here and put it into action.
Yes.
Yes.
If you can do that without worrying about failing, because you're gonna fail. Everybody's gonna fail.
Yep.
It's getting past that failure is where you succeed. So if you can do that, think it, do it.
Procrastination is the biggest killer of dreams, man.
Most
Yes, it
definitely.
is.
This dude done stole my line.
I'm sorry.
I knew it was coming too.
My bad.
I love it.
Go ahead,
Just
say it. I'm sorry.
go take it from me, huh? It's all good. That's why your head big. And yes, we're leaving all this meat left in here.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
goodness.
Have
Well.
mercy. My bad, man. I'm
It's
sorry.
all good. It's all good.
I'm so sorry.
We partners in this game. It's all good. I ain't mad at you. Thank y'all for tuning in to Startup Stories with Darren and Randy.
Yeah,
Steal my line.
yeah.
We got my brother Andre here. Thank you for coming in. We just talking business.
Just talking
Business. Peace.
Every morning I wake up. Look, every morning I wake up. All I know is
Hey, that is okay. Hey, I like that, dude. Listen. That is a perfect ending, though, dude. That way, and you know what's crazy? That is a better ending than the first one that we did.
That way people can see how much you guys are gelling together.
Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to be featured on our show, go ahead and send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can check the description for our email. Yo!